pad to halfway through the first.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our first meeting of 2024 for January 8th. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Gentry.
Here.
Becky McClure.
Present.
Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on.
No minutes.
No minutes yet. Move on to department head reports. First will be Police Department, Chief Morgan.
Good evening, Board. Since our last meeting, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 1,206 calls for service. A total of 38 people were arrested for the following crimes: 7 for operating while intoxicated, 10 were wanted on a warrant, 2 for possession of meth, 2 for possession of cocaine, 1 for dealing narcotics, 4 for resisting law enforcement, 4 for domestic battery, 2 for theft, 1 for burglary, 1 for battery, 1 for ID deception, and 3 for driving while suspended. In that same time frame, LPD took 35 crash reports and sent 6 gun permits off to the state for final approval. On December 15th, Brianna Deckard graduated from the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, and she is now currently in our FTO program for the next 10 to 15 weeks. On January 2nd, Cody Hollingsworth, Parker Newman, and Caleb McCloskey, our 3 newest officers, started at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, and they'll be there until April 19th. And then when they get back, they have 15 weeks in the FTO program. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief from the board?
One.
Yep.
Chief, is that pretty normal this time of the year for that many calls and arrests?
Well, since it's been longer since our meeting, that's why the numbers are
okay.
up there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a full month, right?
Okay.
Because it's,
Yeah, so no, that wouldn't be normal for 2 weeks.
Okay, all right.
yeah, from back, all the way back to December 11th, essentially.
Yeah.
So,
I
yep.
see.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Next, Fire Department, Chief Batts, excuse me.
In hearing Chief Morgan's numbers, I realized I did not do it from the last meeting. Since the last meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 229 emergency calls of service, logged 432 training hours, finalized 9 commercial pre-plans, and completed 51 commercial inspections. Probationary firefighter Kirk Keller has returned from the Noblesville Fire Academy. His first shift was January 1st. He's already completed his EMT training, so he's out of the academy now. We still have 2 in, Chelsea Moore and Rafe Crow. They're in EMT school right now, and they will be graduating March 1st, all 3 of them together. Recruits Jacob McNair and Chris Wayman started at the Pike Township Fire Academy today. They are scheduled to graduate June 1st. 2024 brings several promotions to Lebanon Fire. Captain Matt Young to the Deputy Chief of Operations, Lieutenant Jason Adams to Captain, and firefighters Chris Perry and Alex Gnip to Lieutenants, and we will be swearing them in during the next council meeting. And all four have assumed their responsibilities as of now.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for the Chief from the board? For the public? Yep. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Next will be Parks and Recreation, John Messenger.
Good evening. Hope you all enjoyed Christmas and had a good New Year's and got to reflect and be with family. Hope you all enjoyed it. It was a nice time for everyone, I hope. December was a productive month for us with Christmas in the cabin and the Christmas parade. Main event carriages were able to come back to the Memorial Park for 2 evenings to provide more carriage rides to the public. If you recall, they were sold out within the hour, so they were nice enough to come back out. Did a nice job, and they were booked again for both those nights. And they brought 2 carriages. It was nice. Got to enjoy the Christmas lights. We are beginning to plan for our 2024 events, along with setting up personnel for managing leadership roles in Seashore Water Park. Thomas Ingalls had a full class of lifeguards for the recertification class. He'll have another full class probably next month. Pool parties are being booked at a steady pace, along with dog park members updating shots and renewing memberships. Quite a few new ones came in also this January already. Maintenance helped load another container of medical equipment, books, and other essentials for a Malawi project. They're currently working on the removal and storing of the Christmas decorations. We've got everything down with the exception of downtown, the stuff up high. Those will come down Thursday. We're going to do it tomorrow, but weather just doesn't look too conducive to be doing that. So we'll get them down Thursday. Hate to see them. I think they were well received this year. We'll be hosting open interviews for Seashore Water Park on February 10th and March 2nd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Applicants must be 15 years old, and starting pay is $11 per hour. We're looking at about 17 that we need to hire again this year. We had about 17 to 20 last year, about the same turnover rate. So hopefully a lot of 15-year-olds are out there listening, and we'll get out to apply.
I've been before. We have a very wide audience where a lot of
Yes,
teenagers
I
watch
hope
these
so.
meetings.
It's surprising. We do have really good job turnouts for that. Last year, we probably had 40, and we actually had to turn a few of them away, which is really hard to do. There again, we're blessed. Our blanket for building contest was a hit, and we have several submissions. We will be closing winter this week, so you got a little bit of time left this evening. Other than that, it's over, and quite a few interesting ones. And Mayor's favorite subject, we hope to host a snowman building contest as soon as we receive a large amount of snow.
Have you looked at the forecast now?
Yes, I tell you. We did get some, though, over the weekend, and guys did a real nice job cleaning that up real quick, so, yeah. Do you see the forecast, 3 to 5?
Yeah.
They keep moving it down. It's going to be too cold for any snow, I think, so hopefully not.
We'll hold you
but
to it, John.
Again, have a good year. I appreciate you, and thank you.
Thank you, John. Any questions for John from the board? From the public? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John.
All right, next will be Engineering Department. Kevin Krulik.
Thank you. Good evening. Happy New Year. Project updates around the city. A lot still going on or still getting ready to get started as we get into the new year. Let's start Fordyce Street, Fordyce Road. That project is the next major project that we're undertaking. We had our bid opening on the 18th of December. We had a low bidder of Milestone, and they were in at $6,872,000, which when you add in inspection, testing, contingencies, brings our total cost for the project to just a little under $8.2 million, or $8,169,000. $8.2 million was the max per our bond structure. Speaking of the bond structure, this closing is scheduled for the 11th this week. We were originally planning to award this project tonight, but we have to wait until the bond is closed before we can make that award. So we will be tabling that item later in the agenda. But everything is really on track for how we had planned on structuring the financing of that project. Keep in mind that this is a project that will probably last 2 construction seasons, although we'll know more as we begin to get into those conversations with the contractor, but anticipating the bulk of the work being done in 2024 and then wrapping up in 2025, just in time for the new school opening, the new Central Elementary there at John Bart and Fordyce. Keep in mind that is subject to change once we get the contractor on board and fully under contract and start reviewing schedules. There's also a lot of utility relocations that have to happen. Happy to report, though, the staking for right-of-way will be completed in the next day or two, and Lebanon Utilities will start relocating the utility poles. So you'll see that starting to happen in January, and that sort of tips off all the other utility relocations that have to happen. But we have to give those utility providers some time to get out of the way. Other projects around town, the Riley Road project, a much smaller project. Originally, we had set a budget of about $600,000. Happy to report that we opened a low bid from Calumet Civil Contractors of $473,000. By the time you add in inspection, contingency, some additional outstanding engineering, and right-of-way staking that's out there, we're going to be about $560,000. So again, still under the budget that was set last year for that project of $600,000. We are anticipating awarding that project tonight. That is a stormwater funded project, and that is funded through existing stormwater funds that are already in the bank. Similar project on Elizaville Road, also a stormwater funded project that involved the drainage along there, improving some standing water conditions that we see in the springtime in that road corridor. We opened bids on the 11th of December. J.S. McCullough was the low bid at just over $240,000. This project originally had a $300,000 budget. When we add in contingencies and inspections, we're at $287,000. So we're, again, on track there. Again, a stormwater funded project similar to Riley Road, and that project will be starting in the spring. Let's see, other projects around town that we're still working on. Witt Road is still out there. Our next major step for Witt Road and that reconstruction in 2027 is preliminary field check meetings this spring with utility providers. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to see there, although you will start seeing some right-of-way staking going in to coordinate those utility relocations. Grant Street project, happy to report that Grant Street and Williams Street are now open to traffic in both directions. We still got a little bit of work to do in the spring. We'll kind of tip things off again in April as we get ready for final asphalt surfacing, striping, and tree planting are really the last three items that are left to do there, not including some punch list work that is also in the contractor's hands for cleanup there. Grant Street Phase 2, extending that project south all the way to Indianapolis Avenue or State Road 32. Keep in mind that is a 2026 project. And at this time, we are moving forward with making right-of-way offers for right-of-way purchasing along that corridor in anticipation of that letting schedule with NDOT in July of 25. Let's see, other projects, we've proposed Noble Street reconstruction from 39 to 32. We've also proposed the reconstruction of County Road 300 from State Road 39 over to Witt Road. Both those were NDOT applications that were submitted late last year. Those projects were received and properly processed, and we have our interviews on both projects on Thursday. County Road 300, as you can imagine, with the LEAP District projects and other projects in the area, is continuing to be in flux. We are under an IEDC, we are preparing an IEDC MOU for the funding of that project, but in the meantime, we've also seen development projects along 300 east of CSX, the Spring Creek project, the retail on the corner, the apartment project on the south side, may be taking the lead on reconstructing that portion of the road east of the railroad tracks, so that would be removed from the NDOT application, and we will focus more of our efforts and funding and the IEDC's funding on the area west of the railroad tracks. So that one's a little bit in flux right now, but both those projects, 300 North and Noble Street, are working its way through the NDOT grant application process as we speak. Let's jump over to some park projects. Stone Eater Bike Park is the one that's active at this time. We are in the process of rebidding really a lot of our paving and site utility packages for what would really be the third time. Unfortunately, we only had one bid the last time, and it was above budget. So we have sort of shuffled those projects and are looking at separate projects to try to break out cost and to right size the cost of the overall project. Separate projects for the entry drive improvements associated with the NDOT permits, the driveways, the parking areas, park roads, The water system, the storm sewer system, the electric system, those are all separate sort of projects that we're bidding right now, and those bid documents are out on the street and scheduled for opening on the 22nd, so it's your next meeting. So a lot going on there, but we have completed all the fencing, all the trail flagging and layout locations are complete, mass earthwork is complete, and we're just working forward on the project. There will be additional bid packages that will come later in the process as we move forward with things like signage, off-site trail connections, interpretive signage, which is currently in the process of going after an Indiana Humanities grant to pay for the interpretive signage to celebrate Chief Stone Eater and that heritage and culture, and as well as then a future maintenance building for the park staff to utilize in the area. Also a park project, redevelopment of the old street garage, that is moving forward. Nothing has really changed since the last update. We are now under contract with V3 to take us through that planning process over the next 5 to 6 months. And move that project forward. A few other projects with no real new updates from the Parks Department, so I'll skip over those. Police Department still working on developing quoting packages for upgrades to the sewer system at the existing Police Department facility. Also then working with LFD on the development of the new fire station over there on Sam Ralston Road. And, I'm sorry, not Sam Ralston Road. Yes, Sam Ralston Road. Sorry, had my roads backwards there. And then, not last but certainly not least, our DPW projects. We have a pre-bid meeting tomorrow for our unit price bidding for 2024. These are the unit price bids that we put out there for operational materials, stone, concrete, asphalt, asphalt patching, things like that are in there. Concrete removal and replacement of sidewalks that will be used for the ongoing active living projects is also in that. And then working with Jason to actively develop our street resurfacing program for the coming year. I always give an update on the LEAP district, although there's really not much going on there. It's kind of shuttered for the winter at this point. We did receive plans recently for the Witt Road South reconstruction. They're planning on getting that started in the spring, so we're currently reviewing that with our partners at the county and our engineering and inspection consultants on that project to get that ready to go for the reconstruction of Witt Road South from 300 North up to the Lilly site.
So they've resurfaced that area though, right?
They did resurface that
that's
area.
that's not
That
the
is
full-
just a temporary condition. We weren't sure that pavement would last through the
It's
winter.
falling apart, yeah.
So basically what they really did was rubbleize that road. They basically milled it and broke it up and then put a new layer of asphalt over the top of it. Really a temporary stopgap measure just to make sure that they have an active site access drive through the winter, and then are planning to construct the new Witt Road South, which would really be built to the east of the existing Witt Road, 4 lanes built on the east side of the existing Witt Road, accommodating the future interchange project to relocate 52 to a new interchange. There will be a jog in the road as that comes forward too, but
Because there's nothing planned south of 300 back into town.
nothing south of
Today.
300. No, this would just be for a new entry drive off of 300 up to the Lilly site.
Because when you say southern, you just mean south of 375.
I'm sorry. Yeah, when I say
just wanna
South Witt
clarify.
Road,
Yeah.
sorry, kind of the semantics with the LEAP team, the Lilly team. When we say South Witt Road, we're talking about from 300 to 375.
Perfect, thank you.
Will they leave the existing wet road?
They will until a new road is constructed. So
Oh,
the
the new
plan
road.
is they will always have a south entrance for construction purposes.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I was out there today, drove out there today and
Sure.
looked at that, and I thought, well, there's got to be another road there, of course, like between here and that wall to the fire hydrants out there. I said,
yeah,
"There's gotta
yeah,
be-"
as you know, as you might notice, the
Another road
fire
project.
hydrants are, I think, 120 feet off of the existing edge of pavement. So that's where the new road will be built, is between those
I
fire
like
hydrants.
that road between 375 and 450, that's a nice. road down
Yes, yeah, so yeah, if you've not been up there, 375 has been widened and reconstructed and improved from a few hundred feet west of the railroad tracks all the way out to 39. There's the new eastern bypass that is complete. We're leaving it closed for the winter, but it will be open. I'm told the goal is to open that in the spring for spring's planting season for agricultural access. Witt Road North, or Witt Road North of 450. The bridge has been replaced. The pavement is all in. The road has been reconstructed and widened. It still needs surface, which will come in the spring. There's also 450 North will be paved in the spring, so that will go from a gravel road to an asphalt road.
Do we need to name that road?
We do need to name that road. We've been calling it Eastern Bypass, but that's definitely something we need to think
Okay.
about. Although I think the question would be right now is, I believe that was built.
It's in the city, though, isn't it?
That's a good question. I maybe need to defer to Rob on this one. The Lilly site was annexed. The land east of Lilly was not annexed. This road was built east of Lilly, so it's adjacent to the city, but it wasn't existing at the time of the annexation. So I would assume this is a county road for now, but that may change in the near future.
We can double
Does
check.
the Lilies have I'm picturing where the road is to the railroad tracks, don't they have that?
On
I thought it was annexed in.
On the north end of the project, yeah, the road is adjacent to the city. It just was not there. So under the statutes of annexation, when you annex a piece of property, you also annex adjacent rights-of-way. Well, there was no adjacent right-of-way at the time of the annexation. This was built after the fact.
I think it was fully built on the land, though.
No, this was built on land that was not annexed. This was built not on the Lilly-owned land, but.
I know it wasn't Lilly owned, but I thought that we'll double check it.
We'll double
We'll
check.
figure it out. We may need to name a road. So
Yeah, we may need to name a road. And I think there's definitely a conversation that needs to be had on the name of the road, regardless of whose road it is. But, so, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Any other questions for Kevin from the board? No. From the public? Sir? Next up, Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening. I was going to try to find an answer on that annexation question while I was still sitting there, but he finished too fast for me. So, Planning Department for the last couple of weeks, actually, to make it more confusing, I know Police Department had for the last 4 weeks, Fire Department was 2 weeks. I have one that's 4 weeks and one that's 2 weeks, so I used to make it even more confusing. So, on the permitting side, over the last 4 weeks, we completed 109 building inspections and issued 54 permits, so obviously over the holidays, a little bit slower. We did have 5 new residential permits that were issued over the last month. So again, still seeing really good activity there. On the code enforcement side, again, this is over the last couple of weeks, had 33 investigative activities and 13 new cases that they're working their way through. So still seeing some activity there that they're working on. In terms of just general updates, at the Plan Commission meeting this month, we'll be seeing an expansion proposed at U.S. Cold Storage. That'll be on the agenda this month, as well as the UDO update is going to be presented the second time to the Planning Commission. We'll be asking for their recommendation on that update and new land use and new zoning map at their meeting next Monday or next Tuesday evening. And then we just had a filing deadline for the February Plan Commission meeting, and the Lebanon schools filed their transportation center development plans. So we'll be seeing that coming in next month. Other quick updates, our office remodel project is nearing completion. We'll have a change order later tonight just for a small change order we had on some electrical and drywall work. But the construction is finished up and our furniture installation will be starting on Wednesday this week. So we should be wrapping that up before the end of the week. That's great news. So I'm sure I've got some folks that are in temporary spaces will be happy to get back in our office. So that should be all getting wrapped up. And then just to finish it off here, I do have some year-end numbers. I like to do that the first meeting of every new year. So for 2023 year-end totals, single-family new, we had 115 new home permits, and that's down from 125 that we did in 2022. The primary reason I think it is that we were actually slightly less is because Auburn Meadows didn't have a whole lot of lots available this year, so we went from 4 neighborhoods to 3 neighborhoods building homes. So that's, I think, primarily the reason we dropped 10 permits from the year before. On the multifamily side, Belcanto pulled all their permits for their units, so there's 246 new units of multifamily that are under construction. For commercial industrial, I calculated up just a little bit over 1.3 million square feet was proposed in terms of permits in 2023, and that's up from about 750,000 in 2022. And I don't believe that we actually calculated any square footage in that. I take that back. There is one Eli Lilly building in that square footage, just their Cub building. Nothing else had pulled a permit that was anything for anything vertical, so the foundations don't have square footages. So we'll see a pretty significant amount of square footage this year too as we move forward. But we did just about double square footage from 2022 to 2023 on the commercial industrial side. And then in terms of fees collected, general permit fees, we collected about 290,000 in 2022, and we're up to about 430,000, give or take, that we collected in 2023. And then on road and park impact fees, I ran some quick summaries here. We collected in road impact fees just a little over $790,000 this last year, and since the inception of the program, we've collected a total of about $880,000. On the park impact fee side, we collected $360,000 in 2023, and the total since the inception of the program we've collected is about $523,000. So those are pretty good balances we're starting to collect there, just with some of the activity we've seen. Actually, park impact fee collected quite a bit last year. Belcanto had a pretty good check that they cut for that, so that's good news. On the code enforcement side, just some year-end. We continue to see junk and trash and weeds and grass being the primary complaints we receive. After that, then you've got unsafe structures, signage, parking, and junk vehicles. I do expect that now that we have city court this year, we'll see the junk vehicle complaints probably quadruple this year. So this is one thing that we would typically see in that case. And then in terms of our busy months, obviously May, June, July, August are our busiest months. That's when all the grass and weed complaints primarily come in. So we do see a really busy summer. I did ironically see a much busier October this year than we would typically see. There's a jump there, but that's typically what we see is a lot of activity in the summer when people are out and about and see things. So just some quick year-end summaries for you there, and that's all I have for you tonight.
I did notice, though, the overall complaints the junk vehicle complaints went down, though.
Yeah, so you look at like junk and trash complaints have dropped each year of the last 3 years. Weeds and grass have increased, and then junk vehicles have also dropped significantly. But again, I expect to see that to go the opposite direction now that we've got city court. But I think overall.
I just think it's good progress
It's
to
good,
show that
yes.
as we're enforcing it, there's less and less of it.
We're getting a response, and the other good thing I didn't mention this is of the total cases from last year, there are only 21 that remain open, so we get a 95% abatement rate. So that's also great news.
Yep.
Ben, can you email us that information?
I can.
When you get a chance.
Tanya's got it too. It's all part of my board works report tonight, but we can definitely get it to
Okay,
you.
appreciate it, thanks.
Any other questions for Ben?
No, I'd like a copy.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Anything for public? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next will be Public Works Department. Jason Lawson.
Good evening. Since our last meeting, we had our first plowing and salting event, as everybody knows. It went very well. I didn't field any complaints. I think the crew did a great job. We have 3 DPW staffers enrolled in OSHA 10-hour training, so that has begun, and they are doing that. I plan on having 3 more every time. We're doing that through LTAP, so that's good. In the street department, they replaced some banners and banner brackets. They're out filling potholes regularly as needed. And then we picked up Christmas trees last week. We actually found a lady that has a lot of goats that requested all of them, so it's been great. We just take them out, and they're good for pregnant goats.
Yeah. Do you know how long you're going to do the tree pickup for?
No, I'm not sure. I didn't see them hauling any in today. I think they got quite a bit of them done, but we'll do them. If people call in, we'll do them.
Okay.
Yep. And then when they're out filling potholes and stuff, they know to write those addresses down.
Perfect.
Saw them out yesterday, so they are picking up something.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Technically, Epiphany was yesterday, so 12 days of Christmas, like, really, now you can start taking your tree.
Right,
So,
right.
anyway.
As Kevin said, we're working on our 24 resurfacing projects. I'll be working with him on that. Our MS4 inspections department, we did 11 SWIP inspections, 12 work and right-of-way inspections, and then we fielded 5 complaints.
Thank you, Jason. Any questions for Jason from the board? For the public? Thank you, sir. And last but not least, communications and community development. Jill Page.
Thank you, everybody. Just so everyone knows, the 2024 Eclipse webpage went live today. You can go to the city's webpage at lebanon.in.gov. You can see it right along the top there and click on it and get some of the info that we have based on what we have right now projected for the Eclipse 2024 happening in April. Promotional items, if you want to get some free stuff, stickers and different things, Lebanon Parks Department, also Boone County Senior Services and Witham Family YMCA are the 3 locations, along with here in the mayor's office in the municipal building if you want some free things. Still Eclipse-related stages have been secured for musical acts. Those musical acts have been booked. And we're kind of in the finishing touches phase with a lot of different things that are going on, the pickleball tournament, the 5K, 10K, all those different things. You can get a schedule, a real up-to-date schedule on that webpage I was talking about that went live today. Hasn't been finalized just yet, so you'll see it's very vague at the moment, but as we solidify times, those will be added to our webpage as those updates become available. Now, a lot of the shift goes to our Elevate Lebanon program through our planning office and teaming up with Habitat for Humanity Boone County. A promotional video wrapping up the first recipient of that Elevate Lebanon program. That will be the significant focus now. Press release, other marketing materials are next for Elevate Lebanon. We're looking forward to attracting the next Elevate Lebanon project, and so that's next up on the list. And as Chief Morgan mentioned earlier, Brianna Deckard is done with Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. She will be our next podcast episode person on the podcast. So she will be on the Love and Lebanon podcast, episode 149, which will air tomorrow morning. So if you have episode ideas, you can send those my way. loveandlebanon@lebanon.in.gov is a place to do that.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? From the public? Thank you, sir. All right, that concludes department head reports. Move on to old business. Nothing on my agenda. Is there anything from the board? Okay, first item up then on new business will be secondary plat amendment concerning lot 193 of Sunbrook Section 3. Kevin?
Thank you very much. What we have is a plat amendment, as it mentions on the agenda. This is achieved through a certificate of correction that has been filed on lot 193 of Sunbrook Section 3. And this is for the purposes of reducing a platted 15-foot drainage easement to a 10-foot drainage easement. So we have reviewed this with the engineer. We have reviewed this with our stormwater consultant. There is no storm sewer in that easement. The easement is just there to provide for flooding conveyance, and the flood channel can be accommodated within a 10-foot easement. And so really this is a request that originated from the home builder, who realized as they're building homes that the normal home doesn't fit on this lot because of the easement. So that's the nature of the request before you. So again, this is for approval of a plat amendment through a certificate of correction of lot 193 of the secondary plat of Sunbrook Section 3.
Rob, do we need a motion to amend, or is it a motion to accept the amendment?
Yeah.
Motion to approve the amendment? Okay. Any questions for Kevin on that from the board?
So the home wasn't going to fit on the lot? Was that the reason?
Exactly, yep. So the buildable area is 5 foot. It actually is I think it was 3 foot short of being able to fit the standard model home on that lot. So that's the nature of the request. And we would only accommodate it because there is no infrastructure there that we have to maintain, and because that they can maintain the proper flow rates.
Is there a
through the
drain
easement.
swell there?
There's a swale there, but there's no storm sewer there, so.
My only fear is that next thing we know, we got the homeowner putting a fence out there all the way out to the 10-foot mark, and then we got everybody else doing the same thing.
We do not permit any fences within easements.
Well, I know we don't. We don't permit a lot of things.
You're right. Sometimes that does happen, but
Yeah.
we have the right and authority to require that or remove any of those improvements if they should happen. Because this is a overflow flood channel, There is already a sign on that lot line that designates that, and basically, so everyone's on notice that that is a swale that has to be maintained. But, yeah. If it would have came in as 10 foot versus 15, there would have been no issue with that when it was originally platted. We don't require 15-foot easements. We just require an easement wide enough to maintain the flow rate through that swale, and that the swale is easily maintained within a 10-foot easement as opposed to a 15. So that's the reason it has my support, and it's only after review by Christopher Burke and the drainage calculations provided by the engineer.
Any other questions on that? Would entertain a motion then to amend the secondary plat concerning Lot 193 of Sunbrook, Section 3.
To approve the secondary plat amendment to Lot 193, Sunbrook, Section 3, as requested.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's approved. Thank you, Kevin. Don't go anywhere, I guess. Next will be a professional services contract award recommendation concerning the Big Four Trailhead Portalet design installation.
Yeah, I apologize, I didn't make this into my report, it should have been, but one of the park projects we're working on is to build a trailhead, or a more robust trailhead. There's already a trailhead there on Sam Ralston Road to the northeast of the Menards store, where there's a small parking lot and picnic table and a piece of public art there for access to the Big Four Trail. As part of our American Rescue Plan funding, we had proposed to construct redo that parking lot, construct an enclosure to provide some portalet facilities along the trail. And so this is a proposal that is brought to you by JQOL or JQual. This is a consulting firm that will be providing all the surveying, engineering, and architectural services needed to build this project with the American Rescue Plan money for the Parks Department.
Any questions on that from the board? Similar, if you can imagine, it would be a little more than what's downtown, but we found that kind of installing these, call it semi-permanent restroom facilities, is a better option in this area versus trying to run sewer super far or something like that, and also much more cost efficient, and also something easier for John and his team to maintain. So that's kind of why this is kind of a new model we're trying out, so which we think can be replicated on other parts of the trail too as we kind of go forward. So just wanted to make sure.
I'll make a motion, we approve the professional services contract with JQOL.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. All right, next bid award concerning Elizabeth Road drainage.
Thank you very much. Several projects that were opened on December 11th. So this is for the Elizaville Road drainage improvements. And after reviewing the bid documents, we have found that the bid from,
Hey, Kevin, I'm sorry. Before we move on, the attorney has informed me that we probably need to amend that last motion to make sure, authorize the mayor to sign on the board's behalf, and also pending final.
Sign the contract as well.
And pending final legal review. Okay. Motion?
Second, yeah, second.
Second is amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That's been approved.
thank you very much. Always good to dot our i's and cross our t's.
Well, he sits here.
So the next item is a proposed notice of award for the Elizaville Road Drainage Project. We opened bids on December 11th, and after reviewing the bid packages, the bid submitted by J.S. McCullough Excavating LLC was found to be the lowest, most responsive, and most responsible bid that we received. And at this time, I am recommending that you authorize us to issue the notice of award to J.S. McCullough in the amount of $240,295.20, authorizing the mayor to execute this award and any subsequent contracts on your behalf, subject to legal review.
Any questions on that from the board? Okay, entertain a motion to issue a notice of award to J.S. McCullough Excavating LLC, pending final legal review and authorizing the mayor to sign on behalf of the board concerning the Elizaville Road Drainage Project.
I'll make a motion, we approve the award for J.S. McCullough for the Elizaville Road Drainage Project and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Okay, motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Next would be bid award concerning Riley Road resurfacing and sidewalk reconstruction.
Thank you very much. Yes, the Riley Road resurfacing and sidewalk construction, also including drainage improvements. Bids were also opened on this project on December 11th, and upon review of the bidding documents that were submitted, it was found that Calumet Civil Contractors had the low bid at $473,000, and upon review of those bidding documents, they are deemed to be the lowest, most responsible and responsive bidder, and it is my recommendation that you authorize us to issue a notice of award to Calumet Civil Contractors Incorporated for this project, authorizing the mayor to execute this notice of award, and any subsequent contract documents on your behalf, subject to legal review.
Questions on that from the board?
Nope.
Okay, would entertain a motion?
Make a motion we award the Riley Road reconstruction and sidewalk construction to Calumet Civil Contractors, Inc., as presented.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. All right, and you said we're tabling the Fordyce Road? item as well?
Yes, we are tabling this just for the purposes of the fact that the bonding has not closed on this project, and until the funding is in place, it would be inappropriate for us to award the project. But I can say definitively that upon review of the bidding documents, that Milestone Contractors LP was deemed to be the lowest, most responsible and responsive contractor on the project at $6,872,527. But I am respectfully asking you to table this item to your next meeting once funding is in place.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we table item E. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. All right, thank you, Kevin. I think that's what I have for you. Is there anything else from you?
I think that's it. Thank you very much.
All right, next will be item F, change order number 1, TD Construction Company, City Hall remodel, change order number 1. Ben?
Good evening again, Board. This is the first and final change order that we'll have on our office remodel with TD Construction. So this addressed a few additional items we'd requested of their electrician, and then just some additional cost from their framing and drywall guys, just to cover some of the additional things we'd requested during the process. So this one, the original contract value was $128,744, and this change order number 1 will be an additional $6,655 that we'll be asking for your approval tonight, and then allowing the mayor to sign on your behalf.
Any questions on that from the board?
Were these items that we did not know were there that need to be replaced?
Correct. Yeah, there were things that as they were going through, like the switch plate covers,
Okay.
we wanted to go from the tan color to the white color. So there were just a few things that came up that we had requested that weren't in the original,
Probably had
the
some
original
ad-
construction plans.
You probably had some additions, didn't you, in places where you didn't know for sure?
Yeah, there were a couple of them, yeah. So it was some minor things like that, and then they had to add some power to another spot on the wall that we hadn't envisioned in the plans, so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, would entertain a motion then to approve change order number 1 for TD Construction Company.
Move to approve change order number 1 as presented.
Motion approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. All right, next will be professional service agreement with MKSK, comprehensive plan update. Ben?
All right, so we've had a lot that's happened in the city over the last 3 or 4 years, and since we did our last comprehensive plan update, usually that you expect that to last at least 5 years before you need an update, and we've just recognized that so much has happened, particularly the LEAP district and other big projects like that, that we really feel like we need to take another look at our comprehensive plan and update that again to incorporate the LEAP district and all that that means and what we think that means, and really then look further out into what we think where the development we think might be going as a result of some of these other changes, and how we need to accommodate that with our comprehensive plan. So with that, MKSK did all of the LEAP district concept planning documents. They did all of the PUD-related efforts associated with the LEAP district. I was really pleased with the work they did on that and working with them, and we wanted just to work with them on the comprehensive plan update. So this is a project that will be funded out of the Planning and Zoning Non-Reverting Fund, so it's coming out of existing funds as opposed to needing any funding from the council. So really all we would need then to move forward on this project would be approval tonight from the Board of Works. For the professional services agreement, the project cost is $99,500. And we did use our standard professional services agreement, but then MKSK asked for a couple of minor changes today. So I would just request if you would, we're going to approve this to make us to subject final legal review and authorizing the mayor to sign.
Any questions on Ben for Ben from that? Okay. Would entertain a motion to approve then?
I'll make a motion that we approve the professional service agreement with MKSK to update the comprehensive plan as presented.
Yep. Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Dick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It is approved. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you very much.
And last but not least, item H, surplus item request from the Lebanon Police Department. Chief Morgan? Don't rush, there's dozens of 15-year-olds watching right now.
It'll be all right. So what I have are 4 exercise machines that the police department would like to surplus. We have a back extension machine, and you guys need to remember, I believe Rick Hale purchased this stuff. So we have the back extension machine, cable weight machine, dip exercise stand, and a shoulder press bench. With the amount of workout room we have up there, you can't get around and use some of the equipment because it's just too tight. So the older stuff, we're hoping to be able to get rid of and be able to use the more current stuff we have better.
Okay. Any questions on that from the board?
Just one group of exercise machines, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there, how much value do you think there is with these things?
Well, with the way workout equipment
Kinda-
depreciates,
we
it
kinda
can't be
looked at
much.
it. It's probably no more than $250, probably less.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So maybe
probably-
Goodwill-
I probably wouldn't give that much for it myself.
Yeah, no? Okay. All right. Without any questions, I would entertain a motion then to declare the exercise equipment as surplus.
I make a motion, we approve the surplus request for the exercise equipment at the Lebanon Police Department.
We have motions, or a second?
Second, but question, how's this gonna work? Are we gonna just advertise this for sale, or?
If it's below $1,000, we can just get rid of
Or
it.
just put it
Donate
out
to
there,
Goodwill,
whoever wants
or-
to make an offer to it?
Once it's declared surplus, it's in chief's hands of how he disposes of it.
Give it away, right?
Yeah. Are you interested?
No,
Okay.
We probably just.
I'd have broke it just like you did.
Maybe Rick wants it back. Take it over
We
to
could
Rick?
just take it there and drop it off and
There you
see.
I figured you didn't want to get as big as Chief Bass, so that's why you broke the machine.
And we had him over once and he broke it.
Okay, all right, hold on. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, Dick seconded. Did second. Okay, that is approved. Thanks, Chief. Thank you. Good luck getting rid of it. Okay, that concludes what I have for new business. Anything from the board?
Nope.
Okay, move on to claims. Would entertain a motion concerning the claims?
I make a motion, we approve the claims.
Motion approves. Is there a second?
Second.
A second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Claims are approved. Any announcements for discussion? Okay, would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, our next meeting will be Monday, January 22nd at 6:15 PM. The city council will be up at 7:15. We are now adjourned.